What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And we are moving on to another position today, and it won't take us long to get through this one because, as is the case with most drafts, there are not a lot of pure left guards. Left guards are typically a very sparse position because there aren't a lot of players out there that can capture the needed athletic ability and strength to handle the duties of one. So we're not going to take long here. We got this video where we're going to talk about the guys in the top 100 or so, and then we're going to talk about the guys in day 3 later today. Now, pay attention because some of these guys may end up not even playing left guard in the NFL, or at the very least will be able to move. So if you're thinking about maybe one of these guys becoming a right guard, you might actually have something the Seahawks care about. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them a little bit later. The first guy we're going to be talking about here is, I'm not even going to try this one, so I'm just going to call him Vega because that's what a lot of people call him. And Vega was one of my favorite Street Fighter 2 characters to use anyway, so I'm good with that. So this is clearly the top left guard in this class, Penn State, 23 years old. He is pretty much a prototype as far as guards go, 6'4.25", so he's kind of short, not super short. Decently heavy. Arm length is okay. You'd prefer a little bit better, I guess. Hands are nice and big. His jumps at the combine were pretty good. So we've got a good foundation to work on here with Mr. Vega. The big boards that update routinely always put him in about the same spot of the draft, like mid-first. And the older big boards, the ones that don't update as much, have him in the late first. Aggregate has him at 16, so he's a mid-first round pick. That seems to be about where he's going to go. PFF likes him. They thought he only allowed 4 pressures last year, which is really good, although obviously it's Penn State and you're surrounded by plenty of other good, talented players. Penn State was not that good last year, so that only goes so far. The year before that, he allowed a lot more hurries, but he was still good. So productive player, good player. Let's dive into it a little bit here beyond just the surface level. So the lateral agility is sufficient for inside pass protection. Obviously, you wouldn't want him at tackle, but he'll be able to handle 3 techs. He'll be able to handle athletic inside rushers. He understands how to process games and pass off twists and stunts pretty well. So he does seem to have a cerebral understanding of blocking. He has enough power to play in gap or power schemes, and he has the mobility to play in zone. So you're going to get somebody that can fit in fairly well in any scheme and any play. He's perfectly sized for guard work. Again, he's kind of a prototype at guard. His punches are firm and they hit with force. They generate knockback power. They are effective. And he knows how to get low for leverage purposes. He knows how to bend the knees, sink the hips, and get down to the point where he can win leverage. Sometimes he loses control and balance when peeling up to the next level. He's not ideal in space. Sometimes he's a little overly aggressive. He is a very aggressive player, and sometimes that works against him. And I think that his blocking in space is imperfect. It's not bad. It's fine, but it could be better. So he's not a perfect zone fit. Other than that, though, he kind of has everything you could want from a left guard prospect. So, if you want to talk about him as a right guard, that might be okay because those guys don't have to move as much. So I wish there was a little more here. The mobility thing is a problem for me, but I still think he's a top 20 player in this class. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. All right, so that is Vega. Now we're moving on to Emmanuel Pregnon, Oregon product here, the other top left guard type in this draft. He's more of a second round guy on the big board, though. 24, a little bit older, well sized, not quite as big as Vega, but pretty close. Arms are much longer, though, and the hands are even bigger, too. So there are some positives here. He tested the 40 was just okay. The 10-yard split is ugly, but the jumps are insanely good for a guy this size. So he's very explosive. Big boards, like I said, mostly second round stuff here. Really good PFF grade last year, 86.7. Pass rush numbers are good. Only one penalty, too. 2 penalties total the last 2 years. So he plays relatively cleanly. So the positives with Pregnon, he's more than athletic enough to play on the interior. Excuse me. He is definitely somebody who can handle that kind of stuff. He's pretty strong. He can use leg drive to get defenders out of the hole. He's got prototypical guard build. He is somebody that looks like an interior guard in the NFL. He's got a good anchor. He can anchor down well against power. His personality is very vicious and violent, which is good for an offensive lineman. And his pass protection reps are generally pretty quality. I think that he's a quality pass protector in general. Now, maybe there's an argument to be made that he's a little bit too violent and vicious, and sometimes that works against him. Sometimes he can get caught leaning and charging into contact so violently that he gets beat by a counter move. Sometimes his hand comes off the grass a little bit late. Feels like he's the last guy out of his stance. Sometimes he loses control when he's in space. Sometimes it looks like he's a little bit, I don't know, moving in an awkward way. And on occasion, he can lunge into contact. He will occasionally lunge into contact, which leaves you susceptible to a counter. So, again, I wish he was a little bit better in space, but he's pretty close to the full package. It's kind of like Vega. He gives you a little bit of everything you could want. If you think he can play on the right side and he's there at 32, it's not a bad idea. I do think he's a back end of the first player. Couple of things make him less appealing to me than Vega, but it's similar. It feels a little similar to me, right down to the fact that maybe both guys would be better off not being asked to move that much, potentially. All right, final guy for this video is going to be Chase Bisontis. I looked that up last night. I think that's how it goes. Chase Bisontis, Texas A&M Aggie, 22 years old, a little bit taller, 6'5.25", not our favorite, still about the same size. Arm length is really short. I think he can get away with it, but I do wonder if 31 3/4 is not even enough for a guard. Roughly average hands. Tested really well. Really good 40. Good 10-yard split. Byrd and Broad were both good, too. Big boards mostly put him in the second. Aggregate has him as a mid-second round pick. And you take a look at the Pro Football Focus stuff, really not great. Mostly, I think, because of these penalties. He's a penalty magnet, 16 over the last 2 years. His pass protection numbers are okay. It's just these penalties that I think are really pulling him down. So that's the main thing. So the good things with Chase, he's athletic and comfortable. He can block in space, no problem. He's going to be a great fit for zone. Better than even the first 2 guys, I think. He's got good maintain. He's got good block sustain. He maintains blocks for long periods. And I think he'll be an excellent run blocker in power, gap, zone, whatever you do. He's got a good firm anchor. He can anchor down firmly against power. He's technically sound in how he places his hands. He's technically sound when striking. So plenty of good stuff here. Plenty of nice stuff going on. Now, he's a little bit slow on the reaction time, I feel like. And that's both when he's dealing with a twitchier rusher that is challenging him a little bit more, or a gaming front. His length is going to be a concern. There is some argument to be made he ends up at center, where length matters the least. And he's got to learn how to use leverage better because he is a little bit taller than you like. He's got to learn how to sink the hips. And sometimes his footwork is sloppy. But Bisontis, nice little prospect here. I do worry about him ending up at center and not really having any other fallback. But it's a good foundation here. I think he'll be good at the next level. I like the fact that he's good in zone. Middle second round seems about right. I'm not going to object to the aggregate position here. And that is your final left guard, or at least pure left guard prospect in this draft in the top 100. So later today, we'll do another video rounding up the day 3 guys. There are a handful of them, and that'll take us home, and that'll wrap us up. So let me know what you guys think about this crew. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Another video coming. Might not be until the evening. I don't know. But if you didn't check out the stream of the Hawks Nest, by the way, go check out the VOD. But yeah, go Hawks.